All right, all right. Hello, Wendy Lee.
Hey,
How
hey,
are
how are you?
you?
Oh, I'm fantabulous. I am so excited. I'm trying to hold it in, but I'm so excited. Woo, just can't hide it. I'm about to use control, and I think I like it.
Well, I am excited as well. It's just an honor to have you on our platform tonight, just to share your personal testimony. So I don't, think it's call it lightly that you're here with us tonight. I'm grateful that you are here, and I can't wait to hear your testimony. So,
Oh,
hello, everybody who's watching us, who's going to be watching the replay. Hello, thank you for joining us. Please send Wendy some love. My name is Lena Lassiter. I'm the founder and president of Forever Healed. We are a nonprofit, and our purpose is to assist those with broken hearts to recover, restore, and reclaim their lives. We do this in a number of ways, to include one-to-one in-person or virtual grief recovery classes. We also offer in-person or virtual group sessions on helping children with loss. Our group grief recovery classes are held in person, and we will be posting some dates of upcoming sessions very soon. Lastly, we offer corporate lunch and learn seminars on the hidden cost of grief in the workplace, and these can be done virtually or in person. So, Wendy Lee, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm just
thank
so
you.
honored to have you join us tonight. Words can't express how grateful I am that you decided to share your personal testimony on our platform.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate being invited. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be able to share, and I love this atmosphere. I mean, this is perfect. I mean, this is just the perfect atmosphere. I can let my hair down. Let my hair
Yes,
down.
I see the hair is down tonight. So you have been in the comedy industry for over 10 years. You believe that by people we are hurt, but by people we are also healed. I
Yes.
love that. And you
Yes.
desire to spark thoughts that lead to action that provokes lasting change.
Yes.
Yes, I love
Yes.
that.
Absolutely.
And you recently co-authored a book entitled Poor.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, so excited. Yes. The pre-order started this past Friday, so it's just been an exciting weekend. I've been floating on cloud nine. And so yeah, it's been great. So this is all this is the residue of the excitement. So yes, I am so excited about that. Yes.
Congratulations on that. So
Thank
Wendy,
you.
as you are aware, we have been just committed to live sessions to bring healing, to bring hope and inspiration to those who may be feeling weary during these times. We have been collaborating with subject matter experts in the community on topics such as mental health issues, physical health, and just self-care and self-awareness. So tonight, what I love about just to play on the words, right? So joy does come in the morning.
Yes.
We're going to be focusing on the recovery component of it. So it's important for us to remember that the pain that we feel regarding the loss, it doesn't have to be the new normal, right, for life. That we can recover from loss and we can have a fulfilling and joyful life. And joy does come in the morning.
Yes, absolutely. And the great thing about that is that morning can be anytime. I actually believe morning is the time that you decide that you want to be better.
Wow.
Because I think one thing that's often forgotten in the healing process and in recovery, especially with a therapist or a counseling.
The dog want to get in on the conversation.
The dog. Oh my God. I thought that was a child in the background. Oh, well, that's the dog. Oh, the dog. Okay, does Sparky want to be involved? We got a witness. The dog is witnessing. Especially if therapy or a counselor is involved, is that we are a partner with the therapist or with the counselor who is assisting us in the healing process. And so we have to make that decision that we want to be healed. First of all, that we want, because it's a lot of people, and I was
Right.
in one of those people for a span of time. Kind of enjoying the misery because it brings attention to. I mean, just to be honest, I'm just gonna be totally honest. But sometimes we like the misery because it brings attention, it gives us attention. But yeah, all misery don't enjoy, don't love company. Some people don't want to be around you. Yeah, if you want to carry that cloud over you all the time. So yeah, so we have to be a participant and be an aid in our own healing. I will say a lot of times,
I
all
agree
the time.
with that. You know,
Yeah, so because actually it's like 10%. I'm just throwing a number out there, but it's very little that's done inside of the office with the therapist or with the counselor. Everything else is done. It's just like church. I mean, it's just like church. Church is a supplement to what you do in your private time. So it's likewise with counseling, with healing, with therapy. What you do inside the office with the therapist, that's great, but that's only 10%. But the majority of the work is done on your own.
Right. Yeah, I like that, you know, and that's why I like the grief recovery classes, because it's actionable steps, and you have to actually participate, you know, in your healing. So you're absolutely right. So it's whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So I like that. You said something else too about sometimes I say people are married to their pain, you know, and we take the remnants of the pain and we make it a blanket and we get comfortable in it, but we don't have to. You know, you can definitely move beyond that. And you're right. What mourning looks like to you or me, it depends. But that joy will come if you're looking for it. You know, you have that mindset to heal and take the actionable steps to heal.
Yes. And another thing I'd like to add to that is that you have to sometimes we have to continue to allow mourning to come. that mourning to come. I mean, both mournings, the MOURN and the MORN.
Right.
Mourning, ING. Yeah, to come. Because you know, that play on words there is that you have to go, and that came to me, actually the Holy Spirit brought that to me years ago, and I kind of knew what it meant. I knew what it meant, but it says you have to go through the hurt to get to the healing. That's what I was just walking around the house, and that thing just dropped in my spirit. You have to go through the hurt to get to the healing. And so that joy comes in the morning. So that joy comes through processing that pain. And you have to feel the pain in order to get to that other side, to get to the side of joy, allow the sun to shine.
And it's a growth process. You know, it absolutely is a growth process that we have to go through. So I love that. So I want you to just share your personal story, you know, just about depression and coming out of it, and your comedic journey through it all.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to do this in sessions. We have to come back and no, I'm playing. I'll try to give the expedited version, the short version. Okay, well, let me see where to start. Do I do the comedy piece first? Okay, well, I'll just say it like this. I guess I came out of a household where it's kind of funny. I lived the life of an only child, but I'm next to the oldest out of 6 children. So actually, my father and my stepmother raised me, and my stepmother actually she raised me since I was 2 years old. So she was the only mother I knew until I was about 9 years old, where I met my biological mother. But all the time, I actually thought that my stepmother was actually my biological mother. I didn't know that. And actually, my stepmother passed away when I was 16. And that actually kind of began where I started to notice, I guess, my first bout with depression, you know, being 16 years old and losing my mother. That was a really tough time. And that's actually when I came to Christ. My student teacher, she actually presented the gospel to me during that time when she realized that I had lost my mother. And she said, if you need anyone to talk to, you know, I'm here to talk. And so I actually took up that offer, and I started going to church with her. And the second time going to church, I actually gave my life to Christ. And that kind of, and it was interesting. I think that joy, because I had the woman at the well experience with all the excitement. Not that I had 5 husbands. I mean, that'd be great, but because I don't have none right now, and never had any. I'd experienced one, at least just one. But I had that excitement. I had that zeal, that joy while I was going around telling everybody, what happened and how I got saved. It was so exciting. And I started opening up that word and I started reading that word and just abiding by everything that I read and everything that I was taught in church. And it was so exciting. And I think that kind of, to a degree, caused me to mask and not really deal with the loss of my mother, because actually I still think even today that it's some grieving that I have to do concerning that, and that's been over 20 some years since that happened. It was a great experience. And then the next time I encountered a bout with depression was when the lady who led me to Christ, I became very attached to her, and she ended up getting married a year. Well, no, that's the same year. Later that year. Actually, but I had turned 17 by then. She ended up getting married and moving to New York. But I had grown attached to her because she was the only one I was talking to, about Christ. She was helping me to establish my relationship with Christ, and she was also someone I was talking to about my mother, a little bit. I mean, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. And so that actually sent me into a depression as well. And then about 2 years later, when I went to college, and a boyfriend that I had been dating for 2 years, he broke up with me. And so that sent me into another one. And then things were well for a long time, because I was about 19 when that happened with the boyfriend. And things were going well till I turned 34. And all of a sudden, I hit this brick wall, and there was nothing that particularly happened, but I noticed I just became sad and depressed, and I had no clue. And then looking back on it, I was thinking, really, just be honest, it was the Facebook. I mean, and not saying Facebook per se, but I began to get active on Facebook and reconnect with college friends, high school friends, and seeing how everyone else had families, seeing how everyone else looked like they had all these wonderful career choices. And they were married, they had children, and it was seemed to be so successful. And here, I had purchased a car, purchased a house, and I'm doing comedy. Not to say, that that's minor, but in comparison, I was comparing myself, which is something. It's the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
I was comparing myself to them, and feeling like a failure because that's the first thing they ask. That is the first thing that people ask when they connect with you. Oh, hey, Wendy. Hey, you married? Got children? No. And even, I was doing comedy, but I did have a 9-to-5, and the 9-to-5 that I had wasn't anything prestigious, I think to gloat about. And so I was a little bit, ashamed. I was gonna be honest. Let me just say the word. I was ashamed of the type of work that I was doing. So that's why I highlighted the comedy. I just threw the comedy out there. I'm doing comedy. I'm doing this, but I'm also doing comedy. And looking back on it, I think really that's what it was. Because I was comparing myself to my peers because I wasn't at the spot in life that I thought I should be in comparison with my peers, and that sent me on another depression. But really get back to the major one. And then I kind of recuperated from that after a few weeks. Okay. And then the major one hit in 2014. 2014 was the worst year of my life. It really was the absolute worst year of my life. I had a series of traumatic events that happened back to back to back to back to back. And I had little recovery time in between. I had lost my job. And that same week, I had to have emergency surgery, and I opted to have emergency surgery because I still had my benefits on my job. And then I lost 3 people. 3 people died. They were very close to me. And then I was dating somebody, and I was thinking that was going someplace, and it ended up not going where I thought it should go. And then there were some key people in my life, some fatherly figures that really highly disappointed me. And I had a what I call emotional roadblock.
Wow.
Emotional roadblock where I had to shut down, and I had to choose what I was going to deal with in order to get through life. I was going to put it that way.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And the beginning to look back on it, I saw this spiral. I saw the spiral coming. I saw it coming, and I reached out to a few people at the church I was attending at the time, and they were telling me, there's nothing wrong with you. Because I realized I was realized because I noticed I was acting out of character. Because one thing about me, I do believe that I'm very self-aware, that I do pay attention to myself, and I just noticed I was acting out of character. I had very short fuse, and I was starting to do things that concerned me. I was scared. I really was. I was scared of how angry I was getting. I was concerned with even the thoughts I was having. It's like, this ain't good. This ain't good. And I reached out to some people, and they tell me, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to pray more, and all of this. And I said, I think I do. I need to talk to somebody. They said, no, you don't. You just need to pray.
And why do we do that, right? We always feel like we can just pray something away, or we tell people, Wendy, that they can leave it at the altar, but we don't tell them how to do it. We don't say how to do it, right? And then, I think when people are grieving and depressed, people don't know what to say, because it's one of the most misunderstood processes that we can go through. So instead of saying, not saying anything and allow you to express how you feel, well, then we're gonna try to tell you that you don't feel that way, And but how did you feel like when they say pray it away? Did you feel like that maybe you didn't have strong faith? Did you feel like you didn't have a relationship with God? Like, how did you feel when people would say there's nothing wrong with you?
Well, no, because I was very concerned, because I'm with myself all the time. I live with myself. I don't know, I'm my own roommate, I'm my roommate. and because I know what I do behind closed doors, and I know my thought process, and I know the type of life that I live, I know that was not the case. To be honest, let me just be completely honest. To be honest, I would say prior to then, I was thinking of a few years before 2010, 2012, I began to have when I was having spats of depression. Depression would come and go, for a day or two, would then leave. But in 2014, it was constant. 2015, it was constant. More bad days than good days. But I'm saying, prior to that, I was thinking that yes, there's something going on with my faith. Because I wouldn't say nothing was going on with my faith. I was thinking that yes, Jesus is enough. Prayer should be enough. Maybe I need to fast and pray more and focus more on the healing. Put some significant time into some focused time into prayer and fasting about emotional healing. That's what I was thinking. And then it got to the point in 2012, not 2012, 2014, or so I say 2015, 2014, 2015, where it's like, you know what? I want to say, no, it was 2015, because that was the end of 2014 where all this stuff happened. Then 2015, 2016 was just awful years. Where I began to question if Jesus was enough, or if there's another faith for me. I'm just going to be totally honest, because I'm doing everything right. Lena, I'm doing everything right. I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm living a consecrated life behind closed doors. I'm doing all this abstaining, living this Bible to the T, and I'm seeking. Lena, there were times for Christmas, because my grandmother used to ask me all the time, what you want for Christmas? And no matter how old I am, that's what she would always ask, what do you want for Christmas? And I know 3 or 4 Christmases, I said, I want peace of mind.
Wow.
That's what I want. I want peace. I'm single, never married. And yes, I do want to be married, but at that time, a husband, no, that's low on the list right now. A husband, even my comedy career, if somebody came to me and handed me a HBO special free of charge, like, no, I want peace in my mind. That's what I want. And for that to be my sincere prayer, and this not being answered, or it appears that it's not being answered, it appeared that I'm not getting what I need. It's like, well, maybe there's something else besides Jesus. I'm honest. And that's where I was, for a period of time, seeking out other things, of saying, hey, I'm doing everything right. Maybe there's something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Jackie. Hi, Shani. Hi, Chastity. So Shani said, amen, been there, done that, been in a facility before. It wasn't something that prayers could do. Yeah, amen.
Yes, because I think I'm a large component that is is Jesus, and it's prayer, and it's fasting, and and that they're practical things. And that's one thing I found out in my self-help, because I've done a lot of self-help with research, reading books and listening to YouTube, listening to videos, and talking to different people as I meet people. Because I started to meet a whole lot of people who are actually in the therapy profession, and just talk to them, because you can get information from anywhere. And if you're sincerely praying, God will bring answers to prayer in different ways. You just have to be attuned to it and be mindful when you pray.
Yeah.
Look for the answer. Look for that, and God will bring the answer in many different type forms. And I learned that the practical things are important for maintaining or keeping yourself in a way that you can maintain emotional stability. Practical things such as eating, eating right. There are certain foods that produce certain moods. There are foods that make you more inclined to depression, and there are foods that actually help boost what is it? Those endorphins. What's this name of them things? The feel good chemical. There are certain foods that you can eat to help you feel better.
Yeah.
And then just nature, exercise. Exercise does wonders. And it's getting the proper amount of sleep, and just even removing stressors. It got to the point I had to change jobs.
Wow.
I did. I had to change the last job. I walked off my last job because it was not good for my mental health. I don't advise everybody to do that. But I'm telling you, I felt something lift off of my shoulders when I stepped off of that concrete to get in my car the day I walked out that building. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Jackie said endorphins. You were thinking about endorphins.
Yeah, them dolphins, them things at SeaWorld, dolphins. Yes, them dolphins is good for you. Yeah.
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 Chastity said she's prayed that before, and Shani said it's hard sometimes. Since 2008, she said she still has her days.
Right.
And speaking of work, I can remember in 2007 when I endured a bunch of losses. Even a murder of a loved one, and my employer, they just no compassion, no empathy at all. It was just like, we need you here, and we need you here. And mentally, I just couldn't. I mean, I just couldn't. I was definitely in a state of depression and at a very low point in my life, and they didn't know what to do with that. Right. Wendy. So that's why this conversation is important. That's why it's important that we go and talk to corporate America about grief and what associates and their employees could be going through, because I felt awful during that time. I felt bad. Like, okay, why can't I snap out of this? And there were some days where I would go to work and not even know how I got to work. So I can understand that, walking off of a job, because needless to say, that job ended for me as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And let me just put disclosure out there. I mean, put a disclaimer out there that 2 weeks notice is preferable. Okay, for the people. 2 weeks notice is preferable.
Yeah, you don't want to just walk off, y'all. Don't want to walk off your job.
Don't do that. Yes, and actually, I want to speak to the piece about what's that comment? What's it? Okay.
So Kim says, when I feel like I'm doing everything right, I question myself and ask, what in my life is wrong? What things around me are wrong? Do I need to remove something in my house or out of my life?
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes that's necessary too. Sometimes that is very necessary. And I know with me, I had a lot of emotional baggage. I mean, of course, yes, I do agree with Kim. Yeah, first, look, people, Lord have mercy. Yeah, I mean, some things, sometimes it's some physical things. Sometimes there's clutter in your house. I am guilty. I was one of those, because your environment actually is a replica of what's going on the inside. That's why this is essential. Yes, that's right.
Dr. Jackie is extremely essential. And again, the fact that, a lot of us don't understand it, so the employers and the leaders don't understand it. So if you have someone who's depressed or going through grief, and they don't know what's going on. Someone is, disconnected or maybe not producing the way they used to. They need to understand that the person could be depressed or going through, a loss, and understanding how to deal with that. Yeah. And Kim, you have to also understand, so Kim, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but Kim lost her mother, not too long ago. And I think sometimes too that we put unnecessary stress on ourselves to feel like we should be feeling a certain way by a certain time, because we're always told that, time heals all wounds, and it's what you do within that time. Right? Yeah, what you do within that time. And Wendy, you said this earlier, you talked about comparing. And when we compare ourselves to others and we compare our losses, and it robs you of your dignity. Yes. It absolutely robs you of your personal dignity. So you can't do that. We are all unique and individual. So our grief, our pain, our recovery is going to be unique and individual, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes,
so how did you get from the place of, that depression, that deep depression, to saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get some help, and to that recovery component of it?
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for asking that question, because I was still in the mindset, even in 2015, even though I realized and I had verbalized to someone at my church that, hey, I think I need to talk to somebody, and even though they disagreed that I needed to speak with someone, I still knew within myself I felt like I needed to. But then a part of me was ashamed. I'm gonna be totally honest. A part of me was ashamed because for a few years before that, I did, like I've already stated earlier, I did think that, hey, Jesus should be enough. I should be doing something else. Hey there, Mr. Horse. And what happened was, it was two things. This individual that I was speaking to, who's actually a minister, I was speaking to her about some things I was going through, and she said something that freed my life, freed me up, because I was trying to keep everything in the church. Let me just tell the whole truth. I was trying to keep everything in the church, trying to talk to pastors, talk to the pastor's wife, talk to different people, in the church, lay people, other ministers and elders and things, talk to them. But I realized stuff wasn't, I can't say it wouldn't help. But anyway, and I spoke with this person outside of my church, and they said a lot of pastors are trying to do mental health, and they're not qualified. They're trying to do this type of counseling, and they're not qualified. And she said, what she said to me is that pastors take care of spiritual issues, mental health professionals take care of mental health issues. So she said, it's all right to go outside of church. That's what I needed to hear. That's exactly what I needed to hear, that it's okay to go outside the church for help. So that freed me up, and to the first degree, but I had to have a second round. Well, another sister said to me, and she said, it's nothing wrong, because I ended up telling that sister later, even after hearing the first person say this to me, and I told her, I said, well, I'm gonna be kind of embarrassed, that I'm gonna be embarrassed that I need to go and talk to somebody. And she said, don't, because she actually invited. She said, have you ever thought, of just talking to somebody? I'm like, yeah, I have, but I think I'm a little embarrassed, and I'm Christian. And here's the other thing, Lena, I'm Christian. First of all, I'm Christian, saved, filled with the Holy Ghost, speaking other tongues, all the shouting, dancing, all this, And then I was like, I'm the comedian. I bring joy. What it looked like, the comedian, the Christian, who's always happy-go-lucky, who's the free spirit, who's the life of the body, going and getting mental health help. What's wrong with this person who's depressed? Because I had the mask on, and that's why. And I started to isolate. Because I was tired of wearing the mask. I was tired of going out, because I felt like everybody wanted me to be comedian quiet storm all the time.
Right.
And I can't be. Sometimes I just want to chill, and sometimes I don't feel good. Sometimes I don't feel blessed and highly favored. And I started being honest when I go to church. I say, "How you doing, Sister Wendy?" I ain't doing good today. Well, yes, you are. Yes, you are. You just need to praise the Lord. You just need to pray. No, I'm not okay. And I had to learn that it was all right not to be okay. Did you want to acknowledge that comment? I'm sorry, I'm in a zone.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, Rochelle, I'm glad you are in a zone. I want you to be in your zone.
And so what happened is
okay. Yes, Doris, it is okay. Yeah.
Yes. And what the second sister said to me, she said, it's okay to get some help after she, suggested I get some help. And I said, oh, I'm embarrassed. And then she said, don't be embarrassed. Because she said, the ones who need, well, she didn't say this exactly, but she said, you don't want to be the ones walking on the street, talking to yourself and looking crazy because you didn't go get the help when the help is available. So that's, and that was an aha moment. That was a second aha that actually moved me to action. It was that, coupled with the first comment that moved me to action. Yes, I don't want to be the ones who didn't go get help and be on the street. And so that was it, and that provoked me to go and to get the professional assistance that I needed.
I love that. And that was just so action packed. I want to just kind of break it up real quick because you talked about getting help outside of the church. And I remember a pastor told me years ago when I had a family member who needed some counseling. And I went to this pastor to say, well, everybody keep telling me that I should seek godly counsel and I shouldn't go to someone outside of the church. And he said something so simple, Wendy, but profound. I never forgot it. He said, if you want somebody to paint your house, or do you want a Christian? Right? So I was like, wow. So that's what did it for me. Like, okay, so it is okay for us to go and seek, assistance and care outside of the church. And then you also talked about the mask. And you and I talked about this mask before. And I'm telling you, I love talking about the mask because sometimes we put on our mask and we pretend everything is fine. We say everything is fine. And I always say fine is feelings inside, never expressed. I always say that, right?
Wow.
So back in, the ancient days when they used to do the plays, you have one character and they would keep changing the mask to change characters, but it was the one person. So when Jesus was speaking the Bible, when he would say hypocrite, that's what he was referring to, like take your mask off, And sometimes we put on so many masks that we forget, we lose ourselves in that. Yeah. We lose ourselves in that. So you to say, you know what, I just want to take this mask off because healing comes when we start speaking truth, when we start telling the truth. Yeah. Absolutely. And we should be able to do that, right? And not be judged and not be criticized. The truth.
That's true. Woo. See, two things. I'm glad you left that there comment. Miss Kim, what a poem. Okay, I ain't gonna try because I'm gonna have to get up in the camera to read. I ain't do all
she said a lot of creative people suffer from depression.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true right there. So yeah, high five on that. Yes, so true.
And Shawnee high five on that too. She said, right, it's always not the person who looks like nothing is wrong.
Come on, because I'm gonna tell you something, Lena. I'm gonna tell you something. That year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2014. If I'm not mistaken, when Robin Williams passed away from suicide, I was hoping so bad that somebody would come see about me because that's when I was really going through it. I don't know what year, but whatever year he passed away, it's like, okay, I said, I hope somebody will know because I was so worried because that's what people were saying. Okay, he's the comedian, he's doing all, he's so successful, and he's done all this and all, but he was hurting inside him. Don't know what was going on with him, but he was going through the comedian, and I'm like, somebody please, because that was the cry of my heart. Yeah, so often I'm in the midst of people. I'm in church service. Let me just tell the whole truth. It's been times, Lena. Yeah. I'm sitting in church in a high service, thinking of ways to kill myself when I get home. Really. And I'm like, and that was one of the things that made me wonder, okay, is Jesus enough? Because like, okay, I'm doing everything right. What is going on that I'm sitting in church in this high service and nobody can feel me. Nobody can feel me. Nobody can sense you know, that I'm dying inside. And the cry of my heart was, help me, help me, help me. But I, you know, and I felt, and I did. I test people by when, you know, talking about being honest, by being honest. And said, I'm not doing good today. But nobody wanted to proceed. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You just need to praise him more. You need to speak positive. Speak what?
But see, that's because, Wendy, they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
They don't know what to say.
And I think too that people not unless you have been through depression yourself or dealt with somebody closely with depression, you really don't understand what it is. And because I think a lot of people do think that it's just sadness and you need to get over it. That is the thing not to say to somebody going through. Don't say get over. Do not say that. Do not say that, because it is much deeper. Wow, it is much deeper than that. And it's like, I wanted to be better. I wanted to be, and that's why I went to get help, because it wasn't lifting in 2014, 2015. It was not lifting. That thing was not lifting. You know, I had been through it before. What, I don't even know if we call it depression, but you know, I went through, well, it lasted a few days, and then okay, I'm better. But now it's less than months. It's less than 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We might have one good day, and then it come another 2-3 weeks, another good day.
Right.
Not, you know. And you know, it's crazy. Anxiety attack. I remember the first anxiety attack. I didn't know what was going on. It's been time I wanted to admit myself into the hospital because I thought I was crazy, because I didn't even know what an anxiety attack was. And I just thought I was going crazy. And I didn't realize till probably about 6-7 months later what it was. Oh, that's what it is. And they're awful. They are awful. They are awful. Yes. But okay. Oh, we're trying to get to the bright side. Okay.
You know what? But no, it's good. I think people need to hear this transparency. So Dr. Jackie, I don't know if she's still on here or not, but she said, yeah, it's okay. You know, thank you, God, for transparency, because we have to be able to be transparent. You know, I remember someone telling me a story one time about being depressed and, you know, going to someone and telling them how they felt. And I think it was like a fiance had passed away. And what the person said to this person who was grieving and depressed was that, well, at least you didn't marry him yet. So when you were talking about what not to say, right? So people think that they're saying things and they mean well. Trust me, they think they mean well. But you know, sometimes for the griever, the person who's depressed, they're just crying out. They just want somebody to just listen to them. Just listen.
Absolutely.
You know, but I think that we just so conditioned to try to fix people that we just say things that end up causing more hurt.
Absolutely. And and that's one thing, yes, to listen. And then I guess everybody is different. I mean, there are times that yes, well, I need, and thank God I had friends and one family member that I could talk to, that I could be transparent with. I had a couple of friends, excuse me, that I could talk to. But I felt like I was wearing them out. I did. I felt like I was wearing them out. And I'm so grateful that they did, you know, because it's like during them times that you're trying to think about, because at 1:30, 2:30 in the morning was the hardest times for me. And that's when that dark cloud would just sit at that time of night, and you try to think in your mind, who are them people who say, call me anytime? You try to think of them people, and it's like, and that's the time, you know, that be tested. But I never did, you know, I ain't trying nobody's patience with that one. I toughed a lot of stuff out by myself and try to wait, you know, to the next day, you know, to actually even call somebody to talk to them. And what I was getting to is that, sometimes just want to be heard, but then there are times where I just want somebody to come sit with me. Right. Like no words need to be. I just didn't want to be by myself, because I know, for me, because I had a tendency to isolate, that the answer for me is to get out in the midst of people, and to sometimes just to get my mind off of it, even though sometimes the depression is deeper than that. You know, you do need some medication, sometimes you do need a therapist, but then I guess the maintenance part of it is to go be around people. I mean, because you got to know, and that's another thing, to know what works for you. And I can say I always tried just about everything healthy, and even some things that weren't healthy, you know, trying to get relief. and you have to find out and pay attention and know what healthy thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So you can be able to communicate that to the people close to you in your life. You
right.
Tell them, when I get like this is what I need. I might say this, but this is what I really want you to do.
Right.
So yeah.
I like that too, though. Sometimes, you just sit with somebody. That's just your presence being there is stronger than anything that, that you can say. And I say this to people too. Why do we spend so much money going to talk to a therapist? Because we don't listen. Like we don't know how to listen, Wendy. Cassandra said, yes, Cassandra. Hi, Nixie Pooh. We do not know how to listen because we either start comparing war wounds.
Yeah, come on.
Or we want to try to, pull somebody out of it. Like you said, you got to get over this thing, But sometimes you want somebody just to sit there and don't say anything. Just don't say anything. All right, Kim said, I used to hear that all the time. When some people suffer depression, they get comfortable feeling that way because they don't know how to get out of it.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's amazing especially because I really started to feel this just this year, Lena. Literally just this year, I began to feel that thing lift and feel like I'm on the other side of the depression where, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why this year, my birthday was so major for me. And a lot of people probably, because I did the countdown to my birthday because my birthday is January 28th. And so when the new year came in from January the 1st, I did the countdown to my birthday. And every day I'll post on Facebook how many days. And I think what people don't, I'm not thinking, because I know people don't understand the significance of that. Because last year, not last year, 2019, 2019, on my birthday, I had a date set. People don't know that. Nobody but my therapist. I had a date set. And the date was my birthday because I'm like, oh, how cool will it be to leave this earth on the same day that I was born?
Wow.
And we had a date. So this birthday was so special to me because I had not planned to be here.
Wow.
And yes. And so I thank God for that, for just being here.
Yeah.
And then the quarantine happened. It was about not October, February. Well, I actually had a photo shoot, and that photo shoot was so significant, and I had no clue. I had no clue what that photo shoot would do for me, but I think that photo shoot completed the process. Because here's the thing. I was going through, and I was looking like what I was going through, because some other issues that from my past, that unresolved issues from my past. I was not keeping my appearance up. And just like I said earlier about how your environment can reflect what's going on inside. So actually my outward appearance was reflecting what I was going through inside as well. And I wasn't keeping myself up. I wasn't doing maintenance, and I was looking homeless. I was looking homeless. I was looking like that. And so when I had the photo shoot and I kind of revamped myself, and I began to see the beauty. I mean, the inner beauty and the outward beauty. Because I used to think I was ugly. I did. I used to think I was the most unattractive thing ever. And I began to see, I'm like, wow, I look pretty darn good. And that, like I said, it wasn't that. That was the culmination. I think that was the culmination of my quote unquote coming out party. I mean, coming out of darkness, really.
Right.
Coming out of darkness, that photo shoot. And that thing was so significant. And that was happening in February. And then COVID-19 happened. So I started to accept invitations again, because people used to invite me to stuff all the time, and I wouldn't go. And because I just didn't feel like pressing through, because I extended so much energy to be out among people because I had to work through that depression. And I had to take days and days to get myself in the mindset to do things. Still, I'm saying even now, sometimes I'm trying to accept more invitations, because I have a friend that she likes to go walking, and and she I think she knows a little bit of what I'm going through, and so she extends herself. And it's funny. I'm the type that I will make plans, and then it's like when I'm in a happy space, I'll make plans. Then when that day comes, I'm like, why did I do that? I don't feel like it. But I have to press my way through it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have, because he has a plan and a purpose for all of us, and you couldn't even destroy yourself, in his plan. I love it. Doris says that your transparency is helping her.
Bless God.
Rochelle said that's so true, Kim. And Dr. Jackie says, what are you doing to ensure that comedy does not become a mask?
You know what? Actually, my comedy has evolved. And that, I think, thank you for bringing that. I'm glad she asked that question, because I think that was a point. Because, oh, wow, I'm just realizing just now that probably the evolution of the comedy was a part of the process of unmasking. And let me explain that. It was in October of last year. Okay, let me backtrack and say, okay, I do clean Christian comedy. I do mainly church events, but I have started doing comedy clubs. Started doing comedy clubs about 2015 was when I did my first comedy club. But that was probably did like 3-4 times between 2015 and last year. We did a comedy club about 4 times. And then I took a comedy writing course last year from August. And then it was October where I had the graduation show. And during that comedy writing class, I actually developed some material that was personal to me. Prior to then, because I've been doing comedy a total of 21 years.
Okay.
But professionally 14 years, but that first 7 years was just a trial and error. I was feeling my way. I'm still feeling my way, but I can see a little clearer now.
Yeah.
But because I was doing churches, and I started out, my first comedy gig was in the church, and so I was doing churches only for so long, up until 2015. It was easy to get by with just mimicking the pastor, talking about the choir, and just doing stuff that you see in churches. It was easy. I really didn't challenge myself creatively after a while. I'll say that after a while, because I found my little core comedy set that works, and I was hardly ever at the same church twice, so I was using the same material. Let me just tell the whole, I was using the same material, and I never did comedy that was personal to me. I always talk about do this, mimic the pastor, do stuff that, and nobody still knew. Even from the stage, from my stage presence, nobody knew who Wendy was. And then I just began to study comedy maybe 2 years ago. Began to study comedy. And then I realized, hey, the typical comedian, you know who they are once they have left the stage. Yeah. But that wasn't my case. It's like, shoot, nobody know who I am. And so when I took the comedy writing course last year, I developed the set that was personal to me, where I got to tell my story, so a piece of my story. I got a little 10-minute set that talks about me, and it was so liberating. So I actually think that was a step, I would say a step, that helped to pull me out of the darkness, because I began to talk about me.
Yourself.
So to answer, I think it was Jackie, was that Dr. Jackie's question?
Dr. Jackie,
To answer her question, I would say that. I would say that, Jackie, that's what I'm doing. And even in this quarantine, I haven't been writing like I should. I have been doing Facebook Live, doing improv too. I'll say improv stuff. But so writing, and writing and being honest with my comedy when I'm on Facebook. I'm so honest. I think I have lost some people, but it's okay. Being honest. So that's what being honest in my comedy now. Yeah.
That's good. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Like I said, today, celebrating life. That's right. That's
absolutely right. Yes.
Shawnee said, God definitely had other plans for you, Queen. Yes, he did.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And you are gorgeous, created in his image. Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much. Yes.
This was awesome, an awesome conversation. And I think that people have truly been blessed by your transparency. If you guys have any questions or any other comments, please, let's see what you have for us. Type them in. We'll get them answered for you.
Yeah. And
I appreciate everybody joining tonight.
I'm a venture to say you can ask me anything, but I don't know if I'm gonna answer anything. But no, feel free. Please do feel free. I took a truth serum before I got on here, so you can ask me anything. You can ask me my credit card number. You can ask me PIN number, Social Security. Yeah.
This has just been a great collaboration, God ordained. So everybody that's watching us tonight, she was on my list. She was actually on my list to, reach out to her to join me, and she reached out. So I knew that was confirmation. I just thank God that you wanted to use this platform to share your testimony. I pray that it has definitely inspired and encouraged others to talk about and be honest about what they're going through, because there is healing in truth. There's healing in taking off the mask. Yes. And I want to go back to what you said earlier, what you believe. And hurt people do hurt people. But I believe that when you are healed, the mission and your goal is to help to heal others. So people hurt, but people can also heal.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's my email signature right there.
Yeah, I love that.
People, we are healed. Yeah.
Yeah.
People can do some damage to us, but we have to trust. And I think that means working through trust, because a lot of times we can put a wall up because people say, we'll never let anybody do this again. That's an inner vow that we make. And we have to, it's a risk. It's a risk that we have to take, but it's all good.
It is all good. It is all good. I just appreciate you so much. And I'm glad that, God brought you out and healed you. And there's definitely joy in the morning. And now you are co-authoring books and booked up, for this month. And just on here tonight, just, giving people inspiration and hope where they may not have felt that. So thank you so much. And again, for allowing us to, be a platform for you to come on here and share your story. Wendy, I love you. I'm so grateful for the connection. It's been a blessing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Lord. I felt that one. It feels so warm. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we want to thank everybody that joined tonight. So if you know anybody who may need this, please share the video, like it. There will be a replay. Wendy, tell them how they can get a copy of the book before we go.
Well, they can come to my Facebook page, because I don't know the link. I haven't memorized the link.
Okay.
But, actually, one thing, they can go to my website. It is on my website, I think. Is it? You know what? Just go to my Facebook page.
Wendy Lee on Facebook. Her website is wendyleequietstorm.com.
Yes, there's a link. Yeah, that's Wendy Lee. I got it everywhere. Yeah, it's on my Instagram. My Instagram's up there. Yeah, it's on my Instagram, on my Facebook. Yes, and on my website. All that is up there.
Yeah.
Who found who?
So Dr. Jeff said, I just found you a few days ago on Facebook.
Ooh. Okay, well, hallelujah. Well, hallelujah. That is all right.
You're welcome, everybody. So we pray that all of you have just peaceful rest tonight, sound minds, and we love you. And we hope that this encouraged you, brought a smile to your face and your spirit tonight. God bless.
All right.